Hello, I am Sadredin Taheri, a composer, musician, and music instructor for more than 45 years. Today, I want to talk about the legendary band Pink Floyd. But I have to say, Pink Floyd is such an influential band with such an extensive legacy that is would take many hours to recount all of it, but I will mention only a few of its highlights. Now I start to say the origins of Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd was formed in London in 1965. The original lineup included Sid Barrett, guitar and vocal, Roger Waters, bass and vocals, Richard White, keyboard and vocal, Nick Mason, drums. Sid Barrett influence. Barrett was the creative spark. Sid Barrett was the creative spark of the early band. His surreal lyrics, experimental work, experimental work, and charismatic presence shaped the psychedelic identity identify of Pink Floyd's first era. However, due to mental health struggles, Sid Barrett left the band in 1968. The the separator changed everything. The separation changed everything. Pink Floyd shifted from psychedelic pop to progressive rock, with Roger Waters gradually becoming uh, the conceptual leader. Now, the arrival of David Gilmour. David joined in 1968, initially to support Sid Barrett. His arrival brought a warm and impressive vocal tone, a lyric, emotional guitar style, a sense of musical stability. His guitar became one of the most recognized recognizable sound in rock history. Very smooth, melodic, and deeply emotional. Smooth, melodic, and deeply emotional. The band has some phaser. Some phase. Now I explain another one by one. Phase one, psychedelic experimentation. Experimentation. Psychedelic experimentation. Phase two, progressive conceptuals. Conceptualism. Progressive conceptualism. Um, Phase 3, political and social commentary. Phase 4, post Waters era. With Waters gone, Gilmore led the band into a more atmospheric with melodic direction. With a momentary with a momentary lapse of reason and Division Bells by David Gilmour. 5. Deep Dive. The Dark Side of the Moon, one of the most important albums in music history. It stayed on Billboard's charts for over 14 years. The Dark Side of the Moon. Themes includes time, money, mental illness, human conflict, mortality, The Shine on You, Crazy Diamond, mentioned capture, Sid Barrett tragedy, The Shine on Crazy Diamond, capture, Sid Barrett tragedy. The album also critiques the music industry. The album also critiques the music industry. Portraying it as cold, mechanical, and exploitative. Animals. Inspired by George Orwell, Animal Farm book. That's famous book. The album divides society into three: dogs, pig, Ship. It's a harsh critic of capitalism. Harsh critic of capitalism. Greed and social hier- 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 hierarchy. Social hierarchy. Musically, it is rawer and more guitar, driving the earlier. Musical techniques and innovations. Gilmore guitar style is slow bend, long sustain, clean phrasing. Roger Waters conceptual divisions. Roger Waters conceptual division. Uh, Roger Waters was conceptual division, narrative structure, symbolism, social commentary, psychological depth. They had something, some summary. They had summary studio information, innovation, studio innovation. Quadraphonic sound, tape loops, field recording, conceptual album design, and live performance means Pink Floyd's concerts were legendary. They used massive light shows, laser effects, circular screens, surround sound, inflatable puppets like the famous pig, all this. By the late 70s, tensions grew between Waters and the rest of the band. Tension grows. Waters wanted full creative control, while Gilmore and Richard Wright, wanted a more collaborative approach. Water Roger Waters, left in 1985, believing the band could not continue without him. He was wrong. Gilmore revived the band and produced successful albums and tours. End of Pink Floyd. Richard Wright passed away in 2008. This effectively ended the band. This effectively ended the band. In 2014, they released Endless River, a tribute to Richard Wright, built from unused recordings. Pink Floyd is no longer active, but their legacy continues to grow. Pink Floyd is no longer active, but their legacy continues to grow. Pink Floyd influenced progressive rock, electronic music, film scoring, visual arts, stage designs. Their albums continue to sell millions, and their imagery, the prism, the peak, prism, the peak. The wall remains iconic. Pink Floyd's music is philosophical. Their work consistently explores four existential questions. 1. Theme of fear, hope, memory, trauma, and longing appear throughout their catalog. Great. How does society shape the individual? How does society shape the individuals? The wall shows how institutions, schools, fame can deform identity. What is the nature of time? What is the nature of time? In Time song, the band confront terrifying with the life accelerate without warning. What is reality? The next question. Their psychedelic era questions. Perceptions consciousness, and mental fragility. Mental fragility. Pink in the wall builds a barrier to protect himself from pain. Pink Floyd in the wall builds a barrier to protect himself from pain, only to become imprisoners by it, only to become imprisoners by it, by the one. Madness. Sid Barrett's decline haunts the band's entire history. Songs Hey You and Wish You Were Here explore emotional distance and longing to Sid Barrett. Soon the sound designs how Pink Floyd built their sonic universe. Design their sonic universe. They were a pioneer of sound design. They were pioneers of sound design. They used clocks, effects, cash registers, heartbeat helicopters, and spoken interviews. Tape manipulation, loops, reverse playback, and tape speed. Change created surreal texture. Changes created surreal texture. Synthesizer. Richard Wright used the EMS synth, Minimoog, and ARP Sultra to create sound atmospheres floating. Gilmour guitar tone is Stratocaster, big mouth, delay, reverb, volume pedal, slow bend and vibrates. Dark Side of the Moon, a circular design. The heartbeat at the beginning and end creates a loop. The heartbeat at the beginning and end creates a loop. Wish You Were Here, absence, loss, nostalgia, industry exploration, emotional distance. Important tracks are Shine on You Crazy Diamond, Wish you were here. Have a cigar. It is one of the most emotionally powerful albums ever made. A harsh political critic inspired by Orwell's George Orwell's Animal Farm. Social uh, social archetypes. Soc- social archetypes. Dogs. Dogs mean ruthless ambition. Ruthless ambition. Pigs, corrupt leadership. Pigs, corrupt leadership. Sheep, passive masses. The symbols. Why it matter? It is Pink Floyd's most direct political uh, sta- statement, raw political statement, raw, aggressive, and uncompromising. The final cut terms. The final cut terms are loss, betrayal, political anger, trauma. Why it matter? The final cut. Why it matter? It makes the end of water Roger Waters era. The end of Roger Waters era. Emotionally intense, emotionally interest, but divisive. A momentary lapse of reason have sometimes renewal atmospheric emotional reflection. Why it matter? It revived Pink Floyd and led to massive tours. And the division bells, theme, ammunition, ammunition, platinum, pleasure, relationship, memory, hope. Why it's matter? The division bell. It contains some Gilmore's greatest guitar work and Richard Wright's most beautiful keyboard textures. Endless river, Thames, memory, legacy, farewell. Why it matters. It is the final chapter of Pink Floyd's story. Final chapter of Pink Floyd's story. Pink Floyd live at the art of performance. Live, the art of performance. The philosophy of their live show, Pink Floyd treated concerts as immersive experiences, not performance. Experiences, not performances. Elements. Surround sound, surround sound. Laser shows. Projection screens. Conceptual staging. Theatrical storytelling. Their shows blend music, architecture, and atmosphere into a unique artistic statements. Blend music, architecture, and atmosphere into a unique artistic statements. The Wall Live. 1. Feet. Features. Giant puppets. Animation. Break by break. Concentration. Complete isolation of the band. Pulse live. Full performance of Dark Side of the Moon. Massive light show. Emotional guitar solo. Perfect sound engineering. Bands influenced Pink Floyd. Bands influenced Pink Floyd are Radiohead, Tool, Porcupine Tree, Dream Theater, 9 Inch Nail. They're influenced by Pink Floyd. Why the band still matter? Why the Pink Floyd still matter today? Because they speak to humanization, social reality, psychological struggle, existential questions. The passage of time, the passage of time. Their music is timeless because the human condition is timeless. Okay, it was just a little bit of the excellent career of legendary band and historical band, most effectual Pink Floyd. It was just a little bit of this rich career. I will explain another aspect in next sessions. Thank you so much for hearing, and if you like this aspects, it would be great if you support my channel, YouTube channel, subscribe and support, for, for example, with like my videos. Thank you so much. Wishing you peace, light, and love. And have a good life. Thank you and goodbye. Goodbye.